Ready?
Nothing beats card draw.
And it's back to the beginning for me.
Dinosaurs. No, wait. Dragons? No, Eldrazi. Oh my.
Welcome to MTG Unraveled, where we each choose a magic card and over-explain it to distract you from your current hyperfixation. I'm Rafa.
And I'm Ryan. And today we're super excited. We have a guest. Josh from the Manabonded podcast. Go ahead and give us a little introduction to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, hey, as I said, I'm Josh from the Manabonded podcast. We are a Magic the Gathering advice show. We take social situations, deck help, and lore questions, and we help you all. We give you the best advice we can, which for the three of us stooges is not always great, but hey, we're here to help as best we can. I run the podcast with my other two co-hosts, Nate and Zach.
Yeah, they're great.
It's absolutely awesome. We had the pleasure of being on it a couple of weeks ago. Definitely go and check them out. For today's episode, we got the idea from Josh directly, and we are going to talk about cards that are good for new players. Whatever that means, I don't know. I had a really hard time wrapping my head around that concept, so we'll see if mine really fits. But we're going to start off as usual with your card, Rafa.
All right. You have a 3 blue enchantment. And it's a rare from Commander 2017, a good year.
Some extra turns, though.
Okay. 5-mana enchantment from the Eminence Days. Blue.
I believe it was in the Wizard one. It might have been it. No, it wasn't. It was in Ur-Dragon.
Was it in
the
original? Oh, okay. I've got it then.
Yeah,
yep.
You got it? Okay.
Yep.
Well, let me read the text box. Unless you want to try to guess it. You want to guess the text box?
Oh, I think I've got it. Ryan, do you think?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm being showed up on my own show.
It's okay. I have about 58% of my constant memory is dedicated to just cards, and remembering what cards I've played with. And it helps that the Ur-Dragon precon was one of my earliest precons and is still to this day one of my favorite commander decks.
Yeah, so the text box says, as this enchantment enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Is it ringing any bells yet for you, Ryan?
Nope.
All right, this card is Kindred Discovery.
Oh.
Yeah, you've heard the name, huh?
Yeah.
It's a great card.
But I chose this card because it is ideal for new players, in my opinion. Many new players are drawn to a creature type, so if you buy this card, it fits into any typal deck you make that's blue. And it also encourages players to take game actions. So you get cards when you cast the creature spells, but you also get cards for turning your creature sideways, which is sometimes something that new players struggle with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So many early commander games I've been a part of where the game just stalls out because the board gets cluttered and new players are afraid to attack because combat's complicated. There's like 6 steps in combat. It's a lot to remember, a lot to think about, a lot of math to do. And so people get scared. New players will get scared to attack. They're like, well, I don't want to lose my creatures.
Yep.
An enchantment like this is perfect to encourage those players. Hey, get out there, beat face. Let's play the game.
Yeah. Turn your merfolk sideways. You'll get another one when you do.
Exactly. More cats are coming. Just keep throwing cats at them.
Cats in blue? No.
Ishtola, yeah, if people are going to do that. The cat warlock
fair.
lady.
She is Ishtola cat typo would be a deck. I don't know what it would be, but it would be a deck.
You'd get white cats, some black cats, and then a lot of blue counter magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a few rules text, but I also saw something that I think we should probably explain to a new player that wasn't defined by the rules. When someone goes to stop you with like a counter spell when you cast a creature, you'll still get that card from Kindred Discovery.
Right.
So even if you go to cast a spell and it gets countered, you still get to draw your card if this is on the battlefield. It's not something you'd think, oh, the spell didn't happen, so I don't get the card either, I guess, would be a very reasonable thing for a new player to think.
Yeah.
So that's
it's a light
to know.
Introduction to timing.
Yeah.
And cast triggers.
Cast triggers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also if you go to cast and they blow up your Kindred Discovery, you still get that card draw, which is another thing new players confuse. If a permanent leaves the battlefield, the effect still happens if that permanent was there. And I just thought, a player will probably tell them, hey, you still get to draw the card. But just in case, so you know, if you're new, you still get the card. That's all I wanted. There wasn't anything in the rules about that. So let's get into the real rules here. If you somehow control a Kindred Discovery with no chosen creature type, its last ability can't trigger, even if a creature with no creature types enters the battlefield or attacks. Never thought about that, but I guess it's good to clarify.
I'm also concerned where you're getting a creature with no creature types. I guess a morphed creature has no creature types?
Yeah. Morph creatures don't.
Okay.
No,
Interesting.
Okay, next one. The choice of creature type is made as Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield. Players can't take any actions between the time the choice is made and the time it enters the battlefield.
So then any sort of effect like Elishnor, Mother of Machines, it can't prevent that enter the battlefield trigger from occurring because it's not triggering on entering the battlefield. It is triggering as it enters the battlefield.
Yeah.
A very slight difference that is important as well for new players to start understanding.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, next one. You must choose an existing creature type such as human or warrior. Card types such as artifact and super types such as legendary can't be chosen.
They've got to make a card at some point that lets you choose a super type, right?
Yeah. I mean, historic's the closest thing I can think of that.
Yeah, when they sort of batch card types
Yeah.
together, they really need to make a card that's like choose a super type and do something with that.
That would be
That
really
would
cool.
be
That would be
really
cool.
cool.
That would
Free
be
idea
really
for
cool.
y'all, wizards.
We got one more. You can't choose multiple creature types, such as cat warrior. A cat warrior is both a cat and a warrior. It's affected by anything that affects either type and unaffected by things that affect non-cat and non-warrior creatures. And again, another straightforward thing, but as a new player, you might think cat warrior is one thing you can say for Kindred Discovery.
Yeah.
It's not.
A lot of new players like to build creature type decks, and if you're building a deck that has one shared type and other types on the cards as well, you don't want to choose the other type. You want to choose the type that is shared by all, even if there's benefits that the other card types might have.
You choose elf, not druid or warrior or soldier or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, reprints. This card has been reprinted in Baldur's Gate, including a promo version, Wilds of Eldraine, The Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and most recently in the Avengers Assemble Marvel pre-con.
Oh, they gave it to the Heroes deck.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay.
Yep, people are choosing heroes every day now for this card.
Always
Yay.
choose to be heroes.
And I just saw Ryan glaze over. So there's a few different arts too for this. The original one, if you remember, it's got like pirate ships or sunken ships. They might not be pirate ships, I'm assuming, I guess, with merfolk swimming down to like grab something glowing. And that one's done by Lake Hurwitz. The next art came from Battle for Baldur's Gate. It's illustrated by Vincent Christians, and it's with anthropomorphic birds around like a gnarled looking tree. Wilds of Eldraine had two new arts, one illustrated by Serena Malion. It has a bigger fairy and a smaller fairy peeking through a hole out into a mystical looking city. It's really cute. It's like super blue, which is my type of card. There's an anime art by Yuchi Yuki, where to me, it looks like two fairies are slow dancing. It's like super cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I need to actually look these up.
Yeah, the newest one is the Marvel one, and it's got a whole bunch of superheroes I don't recognize. So
Yeah,
it is what it
that's
is.
That's half the Marvel set for me is just superheroes. I don't know who you are.
Oh,
But you know what I did?
100%.
You know what I did notice? A dog in the corner holding a piece of pizza in its mouth.
Oh, that's lucky.
That's lucky.
That's lucky.
Oh,
He was in the Hawkeye limited series, but he also does have a card.
oh.
Yes.
I thought it looked like the same dog on that other card.
Yeah, it's a
couldn't
dog who
remember.
loves pizza, which I don't know why that qualifies you to be a superhero, but I'm not going to judge. There's a lot going on
I don't know.
over there.
That's literally like the cutest card in the set. The only one that I cared about when I saw it.
Yeah,
There's
it
the
is.
one that's like 6 different creature types, isn't there? The cat,
Oh,
dog,
yeah.
bird,
Oh, yeah.
hero thing. That's cute.
Yeah, it
That's
is
fun.
cute.
There's a few different flavor texts too. The first one from the original card says, "Few things are truly lost at sea." The Baldur's Gate one says, "A family that welcomes birds of all feathers."
Yeah.
Wilds of Eldraine has, "The towers were like a song on the night breeze, faint and lovely, calling her home, a quickling's journey." Which I'm not the biggest D&D person, so I'm not really sure what that's referring to, but
No
Yeah,
idea.
not a clue.
no. All right, moving forward. And finally, Marvel's version has, "It is in the nature of a hero to inspire others." So presumably when heroes
good.
act heroic, you're getting more heroes.
That's good.
What formats can play this card? It's legal in Legacy, Vintage, Commander, and Oathbreaker. The huge. Now, the price of this card has actually gone down with Marvel printing it. Anyone
thank
want to
goodness,
take a
too.
guess? Yes.
Because
yes.
it was like a $20 to $30 card
Yep.
for years after it was printed. Because it's so good.
But you guys want to take a guess at how cheap this card, the cheapest printing you can find right now, how cheap is this card now? Because it is super affordable. Right
do you
now is the
think,
time
Ryan?
to pick one up.
I'm going to say the Marvel one's the cheapest one. And we'll go with $8.
I think actually the Marvel one's going to be a little bit more than the Eldraine non-anime art.
801, Bob.
And I'm going to say it's $5.38.
538. Josh
Very
is very
specific.
close. He's very close. It's $6 for the
Oh, wow.
extended art version of Marvel right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheaper than the regular looking Marvel one.
Yeah.
Yeah, $6. If you want a Kindred Discovery, I mean,
now's the time. Get them. Pick them up. If you ever think you might build a creature type based deck in blue, get this card. It's so good.
It is so good. Now, if money's not a concern to you, there is a confetti foil one from Wilds of Eldraine with the cute anime art dancing
it's gotta
fairies.
be at least $90, right?
It's $100.
Oh,
yeah. I found one for just barely under $100.
All right.
Yeah, crazy. So this was in my Ur-Dragon deck when I originally built it, but I traded it out before I even actually finished Ur-Dragon because I found if you just power out Ur-Dragon, you'll draw all the cards you ever need. So
that is true.
Yeah. So I did take it out of there, but it was still, I remember this card just every time it was in play. Dragons aren't even the best for it because dragons are more expensive. If you get like something tiny like Merfolk, you're drawing a ton of cards with this one. Yeah. So I kind of want to build another one because I was thinking Nico could take advantage of this card. It's got an enchantment sub-theme, and I end up making 10 humans or 10 wizards at a time, and I just turn sideways and draw 10 for 5 mana. That's pretty good.
Never a bad right?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
What are your guys' experience with the card?
My typal decks do not have blue. I have dinosaurs and I have elves, and neither of them have blue in it, so that's why I probably didn't know this card. It's not one that I've looked at. It's a really, really good card. There are many, many decks that this absolutely just needs to be shoved into.
Yeah, I had it in the Ur-Dragon deck as well when I first bought it. I left it in, and over time, I fell in love with the idea of 5-color creature type decks. So I created what I call the 5-color typal package, which is 55 cards, which is lands, creature type support, and ramp. So things like Kindred Discovery, Morathon, My Cultivate, Nature's Lore, Farseek, all of that are in this package. And then all I have to do is find 45 other cards, which includes a commander, that's a 5-color creature type based like theme, and I can just switch them out. And so because of this, I now have, I think, 8 5-color decks.
Wow.
I've got 7 built in paper. The next one I'm going to build, I haven't yet, but I will. Kenrith with the type nobles. And I'm going to build it around nobles. But anyway, lots of 5-color decks. All of them have this typal shell that I put Kindred Discovery in because it's such a good card for any deck that cares about creatures of the same type. So it deserved to be in the main portion of the shell going across all of these decks.
I feel validated picking this card. If it's good enough for 7 decks, it's good enough for...
It's good enough for any creature type deck with a blue in its color identity. Yeah. It's good.
It is a well-played card, too. It is in 6.7 for 7 decks.
Please don't. Oh. Is this where I make the joke about just walking out?
Yeah.
Just like, all right, time to go.
Wait, send me your card. Okay. There are some combos with this deck, but I wasn't going to get into it too much because we're doing this for new players. It's designed towards new players. But I will point out just a 2-card combo, so be an alert for it. The Locust God combos with this card. It's 2-card combo. Yeah. When you draw a card, make an insect. When you make an insect, draw a card. Boom, you draw your whole deck and lose the game if you can't stop it.
Don't do that.
But just something to know, if you have a Locust God deck and you want to put this in there, if you have those 2 and you name Insect on Kindred Discovery, you will lose if you don't do something about it before you draw your last card.
Yep. Yeah. So be careful. Or just have a way to win the game by drawing cards and not attacking, and you'll be fine.
So I feel like we already kind of talked about how we feel about this card. So you want to move on to Josh's card?
Yep. I'm excited to hear what it is.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Its mana value is 2 and 2 blue.
All the blue.
It is a rare, power and toughness 2/2. First printed, and I can give you the exact deck this came from. This was printed. This was put into the Magic 2013 intro deck, Depths of Power.
This is a poll.
Creature type is a legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard.
Oh, I was going to guess Archmage Emeritus because I didn't know how old that card was. I think that card's newer, though.
Much older than Archmage Emeritus.
But it's also not Archmage isn't legendary. So that,
nope.
Yeah, threw that out the window.
All right.
Legendary 2/2.
I should listen to Prof more when he talks about Merfolk.
This is not a Merfolk that often goes in a Merfolk deck.
Oh.
This is a Merfolk that likes to run his own show.
That's good for new players.
Very good. It's because it's very simple. It has 1 line of rules in its text box. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 Drake with flying.
Oh, that's Merfolk?
Yes, he's a merfolk. This is Talrand, Sky
Yes.
Summoner.
Yep.
I run this card.
Yep. So
You run it and you...
Shut up.
the reason I picked this card was, like I said, this is the first card I ever owned when I started playing Magic 14 years ago. This is the card that started it for me. I bought the 2013 intro deck, Depths of Power. I actually looked into picking up a sealed copy of it even now and just say, like, this is the product that started it on. And I think it's such a great card for beginners to just have a very simple effect to build a deck around. So the only sort of rules reminder in the Gatherer text is an ability that triggers when a player casts a spell resolves before the spell that caused it to trigger, but after targets have been chosen for that spell. It resolves even if the spell is countered. Similar to what we talked about with Kindred Discovery, if you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you will get that Drake, but you'll get the Drake before the spell resolves, and you'll get the Drake even if somebody removes Talrand. So as far as reprints go, there have been a lot of reprints of this card because it's such a great intro card for beginners. It has been reprinted 17 times. And so you might say, wow, it's probably got a lot of cool, unique arts for it. No, they've given this guy 2 artworks, okay? He's got his original artwork from his original printing 14 years ago. That art was done by Svetlin Vetlinov, who does some great artwork, including this card. And they gave him the side profile art from Commander Masters. That's the only 2 printings this guy got. And then the portrait art was done by Tyler Walpole.
If it's broke, don't fix it.
But it's such an iconic card. A lot of people look at this card and they go, oh yeah, Talrand. I know what that guy does. He's been here forever.
They didn't even give him a hat in Thunder Junction.
No, that would have been cool. Just the same artwork, but they just Photoshop a little hat on him. That would have been awesome. But no, we get 2 artworks.
Do you like the side profile? I personally like most side profiles.
I do, actually.
She's not a fan of half of them.
I like its simplicity, but I can also understand it takes away from a lot of the character and the storytelling of the art.
I don't necessarily mind the side profile itself, like the concept. What I don't like is the bright pink background or the bright green background or the bright yellow background that takes over the entire card so that when you look at the card, you don't necessarily, like my eyes don't go to whatever face is on it. It goes to my eyeballs because it's so bright. Some of the colors are fine. Like some of them have like a purple background or a light blue black background. Those aren't as just like
this one has a light blue background for it, so it is nice. It is easy.
It's fine.
The flavor text there's 2 different ones for each of the cards. So his original flavor text says, "The seas are vast, but the skies are even more so. Why be content with one kingdom when I can rule them both?" And then his portrait art, he got a unique flavor text for that one that says, "I am the bridge between sea and sky. Wind and waves alike arise at my whim."
Yeah.
So I don't know why I waited this long, but I finally looked into the lore of Talrand.
Yay.
So he is from Chandalar, which is a plane we've never seen on its own, really. We pull cards from it oftentimes for core sets or reprints, but Chandalar, we don't see much of. And there might be, I'm not completely caught up with it. Maybe it's because Chandalar got completely obliterated like 15 years ago and I just forgot. But he basically lives on Chandalar, ruled over all of the oceans, and there was a dragon that kind of ruled the skies. And he decided, I can do it. And him and his army of drakes took down the dragon and her army, and now he controls the sea and the air of Chandalar.
He is him.
He is him. He is that good.
Dude down a dragon.
See, this is why he needs more art so that we know how special he is, because I look at that card and I'm just like, oh, you're cool, dude.
He's a dude standing on a rock. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, cool.
No, he took down a dragon and rules like a massive part of an entire plane. This guy's awesome.
I don't have any numbers to back this up, but if you ask Magic players, Merfolk versus Dragon, who wins? Nobody's picking Merfolk.
Dude. Maybe the professor would do it, yeah.
I mean, just in a fight, who's going to win? No one says Merfolk.
Yeah, absolutely not. Formats, it's playable in the usual ones, Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Oathbreaker. As for the price of the card, can you guess what a very simple, rare, reprinted 1,000,000 times over? Do you know how much that card will cost you?
A quarter.
It's not much, but I think it's more than that.
It's more than a quarter?
Yeah.
Well, depending on the printing you pick.
He demands to be expensive.
The most expensive printing you can find is his portrait art, and that'll run you just under $3.
Oh,
The cheapest, 40 cents. It's fantastic for new players. It's such a cheap card. As far as like combos with this card, just play a lot of instants and sorceries, and you'll get there. The more instants and sorceries you play, the more drakes you're going to get,
New players, you know that guy that says he's playing a storm deck and his last turn takes 20 minutes and then he wins? Play the cards he's playing.
That's me. Hey, that's me, guys. EDH Rec ranks this as only the number 385 out of all of the commanders in the world, which for a 14-year-old card, not a bad number. Yeah. But, considering all of the universes beyond we've gotten in the last 6 months, it probably fell a little bit. Yeah. But this is still a fantastic card, and one that if you don't respect it will catch you off guard. You want active instants and sorceries, powerful instants and sorceries that are going to allow you to chain into more instants and sorceries, cast more instants and sorceries than your friends ever thought were even printed in the game, and then win the game with an army of drakes.
Powerful doesn't necessarily mean expensive, though, because I would absolutely put Treasure Cruise and the other one in this deck.
Dig Through Time.
Dig Through Time.
Absolutely. First cards you want to throw in there.
And they're cheap.
They're such cheap cards. They're excellent cards to throw in here. You can also put Lock and Load from the Thunder Junction precons. It's 3 and a blue for a sorcery. You can plot it for 2 and a blue. Draw a card, then draw an additional card for each instant and sorcery you've cast this turn. So a lot of great simple instants and sorceries to chain each other together.
I have this card in my Octavia deck.
Yes.
Which is when you were talking about you don't want to fill it with a whole bunch of counter spells. I have maybe two. I think I have 2 counter spells in there, but they are not simple, just counter spells. Yeah. They're attached to other things. Mm-hmm. So I can still do stuff because you want to be active. And this card is, whenever I actually do draw it, it's nutty because that's the entire point of the deck is just cast instant sorceries. And then all of a sudden I have a bunch of 8/8 drakes.
Absolutely.
Which can contend with dragons.
Which will eat most dragons, yes. No, and as just for fun facts about this card, I couldn't think of any other fun facts, and this is just where it started for me. Me and my buddy went down to a card shop not too far from here in Ontario, and we picked up these intro decks, which is how new players got into the game at the time. It was a 60-card standard legal deck that wasn't going to hold up at a tournament, but it was a way to play. So the whole deck was blue and red instants and sorceries, and for anybody who knows how I play now, they are all hearing this and seeing, that's where the problem started. Because I started with blue-red, and I've never left. I love blue-red.
It is a lot of fun.
It's so fun.
I really like this card for new players too, because you build it first and you're like, I have a whole bunch of creatures I'm going to attack with, but secretly you end up upgrading to a storm deck.
Exactly. It's the pipeline of, this card is cool, to storm players. Yep. That's the pipeline we need to work on.
Yeah, here. That's what we need to encourage new players to.
Exactly.
Are we ready to move to your card?
Yep. I think I had a different assignment. All right.
Josh and I secretly were like, hey, pick blue cards. No.
Mine has blue.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Mana cost, green, blue, red. Okay. It's a legendary creature, elemental, mythic. The first release of the card was Commander 2011.
Oh, yep, got it.
And it's a 1/1.
Does it start with an A?
It's a 1/1 for now.
Yeah.
Just a 1/1. Really. Text box. Protection from white and from black. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast for each 1/1 counter on this creature.
How could this be wrong? How could this be too powerful? It's so simple. It's easy. It's fair.
This card just makes me think of the scientific term where they're like, we spent too much time asking, can we do this? And not, should we do this?
Oh, you should do it.
No.
This card is, of course, Animar, Soul of Elements, which I think is great for beginners. This was one of the first decks that I wanted to build, and my thought was, new players love big, powerful, typal, all those things, and Animar goes, you can do whatever you want. Stomp them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is how you make sure that new players become the problem. I thought it was funny because both of your cards had the whole, like, when it's cast. Same thing for this one. You still get the cast trigger, whether your creature spell that you cast gets countered or not. A couple of rules text for Animar to go over really quick. Animar's triggered ability triggers only when a creature spell is cast after costs are paid. The counter put onto Animar for a creature spell won't affect the cost of that creature spell, only future ones. You don't get it discounted when you put the creature onto the stack, unfortunately, but the next one is a little bit less. Animar's triggered ability resolves before the creature spell that causes it to trigger. The ability will resolve even if that spell is countered. Just talked about that. And last one is to determine the total cost of a creature spell, start with the mana cost or alternative cost you're paying. Add any cost increases, then apply any cost reductions. The mana value of that creature remains unchanged no matter what the total cost to cast it was. If you are casting a 6 mana creature, even if you only pay 4 for it, it is still a 6 mana spell if it gets mana drained. There are 5 total printings of this card, 3 different arts. I thought it was really funny that as I looked chronologically for the art of Animar, they progressively got less terrifying. So the first art is by Peter Mobacher, and it's this giant land behemoth, taller than a mountain, like jagged jaw, just looks imposing. He is bigger than the land. Second art is by Philip Berberan, still like a big guy, but it's in a forest and you can see that there are really big trees around him. Not as big as a mountain. Still kind of like, it really actually, the second art gives me like Princess Mononoke vibes. Like forest spirit vibes. 2 glowing green eyes within this big mossy stone Goliath. Don't know what's going on.
Stranger Things sized.
Yes.
Like, you know,
Yes.
whatever that's called.
The Mind Flayer?
Yep, that, you know, just the iconic Mind Flayer, whatever.
Yeah. And then the third art was done for a secret lair by Jack Teagle. And it is, again, much, much larger, like as big as an entire island. But it's this cute little sleepy sloth. He's got moss hair and he's just sleeping with all the animals running around.
I bet the art is adorable, but that doesn't feel like Animar to me, the way you describe it. Yeah.
No, not at all. Yeah. I just, like, the first one, when you hear Animar, Soul of the Elements, you think, honestly, I feel like the second art vibes the most. Only one copy of the card has any flavor text, and it's the Secret Lair one, and it says, many creatures live their entire lives on Animar without ever feeling the elemental move, which does imply he's massive. Legal formats, the usual. Legacy Vintage Commander Oathbreaker. What do you guys think the price of this card is? And this is where I think my I might have been on the wrong.
He used to be a lot because for the longest time his only printing was the original Commander 2011 precons. And so for a while he was like $30-$40. As Commander got more popular, he just kept climbing. Probably still say he's around the 10-15 range still.
Oh, he has not moved a muscle. For the cheapest printing that you can get, it's $32.
I can dream.
And the most expensive is the Double Masters etched foil.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
Goes for $98.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, if a new player is going to spend $30 and this is something that appeals to them, it's worth the $30 for this card.
Especially considering the rest of the deck is going to be creatures, cheap creatures that are just big.
Well, that was my thought. So like I said, this was one of the first decks that I actually wanted to build myself. I did like a precon, and then you built Atraxa for me because I saw Atraxa and went, that looks awesome. Let's do that. But he built the deck for me. So the next one I wanted to do was Animar because I saw it and I was like, that's powerful. That's cool. I did the Atraxa thing. Let's do another powerful thing. And then he was so nice and he was like, you really want this deck? And then he built it for me and I shoved it back in his face and I said, I'm not playing that. I said, I wanted to build it. So my second...
Fair. Yeah, it is fair. I was just trying to help because you were still relatively new at that point.
Yeah.
But I understand wanting to build your own deck.
Yeah, so my second deck actually was Lathril, which I built myself, and you played Animar for a while, and then I think we ended up selling it off to someone. Still never really got to play Animar, maybe someday. But my thought was this is what new players want to do. Not necessarily like this is my first time sitting down at a table, but once you have a little bit of a grasp of the game, this is what you want to do. You want to do powerful things. And I was like, yeah, I'm willing to pay $30 for a card so that I can do the thing that I want to do and have fun in the game. I'm tired of getting stomped on. I'm going to stomp on you.
Yeah.
And Animar is really good at that.
Very good.
Yeah. It's also very open, too. You could build it with just the grossest cards you want to play in creatures.
Yep.
You could build it with a specific type, and that'll help you. Or it can combo, too, if you end up wanting to be that player, too.
Yeah.
I think
Super
it's a great little pipeline that can help you not start with simple creature decks, but then you can also learn about combos, too, because there are ways to combo with Animar that I'm sure you've prepped up, and I won't steal your thunder.
I actually, I opted not to go into the comboing kind of for the reason that you brought up.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about it for new players. Animar just does it. You were like, oh, this is a good card in here. Put it in. This is a good card in here. Oh my gosh, I just spit my entire deck out onto the battlefield. My bad.
Oops.
So I didn't want to go into that today, but he is very good at doing that. I also thought that this was good to bring up because it is a deck that will help push you into that next level because they are going to see Animar and go, no, bye. And so now as a player, you have to learn what being a threat is, what it means. You now have to learn how to build your deck to help protect yourself from that. So it just kind of pushes you into that next level of being a player. Rather than, oh, I'm just sitting here, new player doing my thing. Now I have to start learning how to be reactive.
Yeah. I think one of the best lessons I learned early on when I was playing Magic, I was playing online with a friend and they wiped me into the dirt. It's kind of what made me realize I need to improve my decks. I need to be better because I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be the one squishing people into the dirt. For new players, if they try to build Animar, they're going to be powerful, but it's also going to be a quick lesson in how fast your board can get dismantled in one rotation. Animar's been around longer than a lot of new players have, so they're not gonna... everyone knows how to handle Animar already. You've got to work around that. You've got to be prepared. You've got to come with protection. You've got to be faster than they're ready for.
It is also nice that it has pro white and black so that you don't have to worry quite as much about removal.
Yes.
You still do. It will get removed. But at least it's got protection from two colors that run a lot of creature removal.
Yes.
Yeah. It's still incredibly popular. As a commander, it is number 42 on EDH Rec. There's 22,592 decks.
15 years later, and he's still in the top 50.
I mean, if you look at it, if you look at the top 50 commanders on EDH Rec, there's so many that they're not new commanders.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of the super powerful ones. Ur-Dragon, Krenko, Edgar Markov, Atraxa, like these are all ones that have been sitting up there holding their place in the top commander decks for so long. I've never looked at Animar and thought of it as a 99 card, to be honest.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. But it has a 4.13% inclusion rate. Way higher than I expected.
And it helps by the fact that there's a very limited pool of decks it could be in. It has to be 3-color or more. But yeah, that's still very high.
Did you write the commanders that it's in? I'm just curious.
I wrote down the number one.
Okay.
So there's 1.01 million possible decks that it could be in. And it's in 40... Holy crap!
Start over. You're good.
How do you read numbers? 41. Shit. 41.8 thousand decks. And I think a lot of that came recently because the number one commander, and it's in 51% of those decks, is Ashling.
I was going to say Ashling the Limitless is the one I switched my elemental deck to.
Yeah, that's the obvious answer.
Yeah. Stop having to worry about the evoke and paying for it again later thing.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wait.
Well, evoke is a cast too. So once you get Animar to 4, evoke's free.
Oh no.
That's gross.
That dick. So, not very much lore when it comes to Animar. But like I was talking about, he's much bigger than you would even imagine from the depiction of the card. Basically, all we have is that in the folklore of its plane, not described what plane that is. We have no idea where Animar originated from. Don't know birthplace. Don't even know how long Animar has been around. He is the ultimate source of all life. The seed from which all creation grows. In the presence of Animar, crops blossom and herds thrive. His wanderings dictate the shifting of seasons, making him a mysterious wandering force of nature not tethered to a single plane.
The perfect life.
He is God. Like, he created everything.
Just wandering around. Everything is great wherever you go. Not tethered to anything.
Casually crushing things as you step.
Yeah, right. Well, that was all I had about my card. Do you guys have any honorable mentions, other cards that you thought of for the episode that you decided not to talk about in the end?
Yeah, I'll kick this one off. I think blue gets a bad rep, and it's not necessarily undeserved, okay? But it's a poor one nonetheless.
Unfairly.
Yeah.
Talking to you, Tony from Howling Salt Mine. Blue is perfectly fine, and blue is a good color.
I mean, blue is a good color, and there are lots of options. Some blue cards do give blue its reputation. It's not undeserved entirely. I will never hate on blue. I freaking love
green
blue.
Deserves a worse reputation.
Oh, yeah. No, green is overrated. I agree.
Which is why Simic is great.
Yes. But the point being, there are fun, good blue cards for new players that I think are great. Windfall is a good card. Windfall's great for new players because a lot of the times the worst feeling as a new player is you don't put enough card draw in your deck and you end up with one card in your hand. Well, you draw that Windfall, guess what? You have a whole new hand. Yes, you give all your opponents new hands, but I'm just saying give Windfall a try because it is a pretty good card for
absolutely.
new players. Yeah, and it is a good card in the right decks, just in general. Aetherize is a gotcha spell that I love personally. Gotcha spells are really fun, but Aetherize will go from I'm cooked to I get one more turn. So
there are very few better feelings in Magic than watching your opponent confidently swing out with a lethal attack and you just smugly flip around an Aetherize and say, no, thank you.
Yeah. You want to try again later?
Thanks. Next turn.
And then clones are really good if you feel like you're playing against people's wallets, but you don't want a proxy. Clones say, I'm just going to play all those gross things you guys are playing. And a lot of clones are in blue. So
and a lot of them aren't that expensive either.
No.
I think one of my favorites is Mirror Maid. It's one of Nate's favorite as well. It's 1 and 2 blue for an enchantment that comes in as a copy of any other artifact or enchantment on the board. If you're really upset that the dude who has, 6 jobs and lives with his parents still can afford a fancy Rhystic Study and Smothering Tithe for all of his decks, you can too. It's called Mirror Maid. It's $6. He plays Rhystic, so do you. Clone effects are awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. That's actually really, really good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I was smart for once.
Good job.
Honorable mentions.
The reason I landed on Animar is because one of the first thoughts that came to my head was typo commanders. None of them are all that complicated, but why not just pick the commander that says you can do any or all of those? Go for it.
It says creature, I'm in.
Yeah. And then outside of that, the overrun effects came to my head, like Craterhoof Behemoth or Finale of Devastation, Triumph of the Hordes. I saw that card and I was like, I'm doing that.
Yes, Triumph is such a good card.
But those are really the only things. I struggled with this one.
Yeah, we were talking behind the scenes, and she basically is under the impression of new players get good.
Sit down, you should know how to play already.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time.
I'm exaggerating, but it is difficult for her to just be like, no, I want all the complicated, powerful cards. That's what she loves.
It's what I do, and getting my head out of that space and going back and even, like, I didn't start off easy either. No. So I didn't start off with, I'm going to play a super simple precon. My precon was the Kadena.
Yeah,
I was going to say, you did the hand motion. Like, is it the morph one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my very first precon. And then I went straight into Atraxa. I didn't start off with let's do the easy things first. So it was difficult for me to be like, what would be simple for new players? No, we're going to do the cool stuff. Come play with me. I'll teach you how to play the cool way.
I'll throw it in there as one of my honorable mentions. Rune of the Hidden Realm is fantastic because it teaches you that what reads on paper might be a bad thing. Exile target creature, and then it just comes back. So it removes it, but not really. What's the point of that? Can actually have some major upsides hiding in the shadows. That creature that says when it enters, destroy 3 target non-creature permanents. Well, if the creature is exiled and then comes back, guess what? It entered the battlefield again. Do it again.
And now you love Blink.
Oh, Blink and Storm are my 2 favorite ways to play the game.
All right.
Right.
Well, before we end the episode, we like to talk about something that we have been hyper-fixated on within the world of Magic or outside of it. And today, Josh has something that he loves that he wants to talk about.
Yeah, so I debated. I had two different things I wanted to talk about here, and I won't do the first one because what I really wanted to do, and we were chatting before recording, and I apologized. I said I'm not really caught up with your backlog because I've been reading Brandon Sanderson. I just finished Wind and Truth, and I wanted to just rave about that for a little bit. But Ryan's not done with Wind and Truth, so I will withhold.
Wait.
Please just go read Brandon Sanderson books. They're so
Yes.
fantastic.
Oh,
You
yes.
don't understand. Instead, I would like to, if I can, complain and vent a little bit about some news that broke my heart, and I'm not over and won't be over for a long time.
Oh, no.
For those of you who listened to our content a couple weeks ago, we, at the end of our episode, we talked about my favorite game, Destiny 2. I have played that game for a very long time. I played back when it was Destiny 1. I've played Destiny 2 since the beginning. So I love that game to death. Truly, there is no other game like Destiny 2. Games have come and gone that were supposed to replace it and never could. But it turns out the real game that could dethrone Destiny was itself, because 3 weeks ago, Bungie and Sony really made the call to end the future of Destiny 2 content, and they decided the game is done. We're not putting out any more content for this game.
Oh.
This is your final update. And this is a game that has been plagued for years with management issues. One of the more famous examples was there was a sort of seminar that they had internally about where to take the game and where to, like, how to make the game not better, but make more money, which I get is the realism of games as a business, is they do have to make money. But one of the slides that went famous in this was, don't over deliver, you're creating patterns. Telling the management team and the developers, don't give players what they want, drip feed them a thing that is similar to what they want and some monetized content. That created a huge stir, obviously,
Yeah.
because nobody likes being told that everything that they want from a game is being withheld from them. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the most infamous part of Destiny's downfall and downhill slope, which was what they called the Destiny Content Vault. They said, hey, the engine is getting muddled up, the storage is getting too big, we are going to take the original Red War campaign, the two mini expansions after it, everything before Forsaken, we're going to take all of that. Or no, I think they took Forsaken too. They took all of this content and they deleted it. And they said, we can't handle this with the way we're updating the engine, so we're going to put it in the content vault and we'll bring it back later. So paid content was gone, completely removed from the game.
Oh, that's
And
insane.
new players coming into the game had no idea what was going on. There were still voice lines referencing it, story beats and lore drops referencing the Red War, as they call it. And everyone's like, I don't know what it is. And to this day, the only way you can understand what the Red War is to go on YouTube and find all the cutscenes slammed together into a
Yeah.
movie. People were so mad. And finally, what killed the game was the CEO of Bungie spun off like 7 different projects, shattered the main development team of Bungie, and sent them working on different projects. One of them was Marathon, which did come to light, and from what I understand, Marathon's actually a decent game. So I've been meaning to try it. But they also were trying to spin off into some mobile games, into some other game. But on the business world, when they heard Bungie was working on a lot of different projects and Destiny was already so popular, the value of Bungie went up to stockholders. The CEO negotiated a deal for Sony to purchase Bungie for $3.7 billion or something, some crazy number for a game studio,
Good gravy.
of which Pete Parsons took a large chunk of that money himself and then promptly quit. Only for Sony to get Destiny 2, realize all of those side projects had no real sway. They were never going anywhere. All of them got canceled very quickly. Destiny 2 was struggling because players were frustrated. And so back in February, they quietly, internally decided, we are going to make Destiny 2 reach its end of life. We will no longer create more content for it. But they didn't tell everybody that until 2 weeks before the final update. They didn't tell the community. They didn't tell content creators that they're normally open with. They didn't even tell their studio internally.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Absolutely baffling. So the 2 weeks goes by and they release an update called the Monument of Triumph. Basically a letter of love to the community to say, thank you for letting us build this game with you over the last 12 years or longer.
Yeah,
long story short. Sorry. I could rant about this for literal years. Destiny is over. Destiny 2 is over. They are no longer producing content for it. The servers will remain playable. Even the Destiny 1 servers have remained playable all this time.
Wow.
You can still go back and play all of it. But the Destiny 2 servers will remain up. They are going to do very, very light hot fixes and patches to broken mechanics in the coming years and months. But the team behind Bungie and behind Destiny, they are down to a bare bones operating team. Most of the people at Bungie have been let go. I will never not stop being sad at the death of Destiny 2. And yes, I brought it from my podcast over here to make you all sad too.
No, that's absolutely insane. Things come to an end. We all know that.
Things should.
And it's going to happen. But for there to be basically no warning to something that has been around for so long is, I couldn't imagine. Like if I were to hear, oh yeah, we've just been jerking your chain, we're never gonna come out with another Elder Scrolls, I'd be so sad.
They did announce that, actually. They did announce that they're finally putting primary production focus on Elder Scrolls 6 now.
They've been
officially now.
Oh,
Official statement
promise.
is they're pushing.
Starfield comes out, then it will be all Elder Scrolls, which I sat there and I was like, Starfield better be the best game on the planet.
And then it came out.
And then it came out. It's awful.
It has so many unique worlds.
I'm sorry. If you want to play Starfield and enjoy it, it's called No Man's Sky. That's the game you want to play.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't even know this, but we have Destiny 2 in this house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Really?
it came with the PS5 that we bought.
The PS5?
really?
Mhm.
Huh.
I played an hour of it, went, I would have to invest so much into this and never gave it a fair chance. I'm sorry.
Yep. And
You're selling me on it, but it sounds like it's a little too late now.
The problem was for years, I hit this point even when it was getting new content, I hit this point where I've said, it is a fantastic game. If you're not already playing it, I used to tell people, if you haven't already started playing it, if you're not really into it, don't. It's so expensive to get into the game because you had to buy all the expansions now and you had to buy all the dungeon keys and all this different stuff you had to buy separately. And it was really frustrating for a free-to-play game. But they did lighten that up now that the game is done. They combined all of the content from all of Destiny 2's history into one purchase, the Destiny Collection bundle. I don't think it's more than like $60 now for the entirety of Destiny 2. So if you're willing to play a dead game and willing to give it a try, it's still fun. I have honestly felt like since that game is done, I have felt sort of homeless as a gamer. Somebody who I don't know, what do I play now?
I say this with being able to relate completely, but it's so first world problems to mourn a video game. I understand.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no. There are so many problems in the world right now. And I'm over here upset because my video game stopped giving me stuff to do.
But I have mourned the loss of games, so I get it, dude.
Yeah, no,
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find us on TikTok at Dicentric Games for more magic content and nerdy shenanigans. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find us anywhere where podcasts are held. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. There's also, I guess we're on Audible too. Technically discovered that the other day. We're on Audible. Yeah. We do post our content as well on YouTube. No video content yet. We are working on that possibly becoming a thing in the future. We are on all social media channels under Manabonded. And like I said, we're a Magic the Gathering advice show. And so if you have questions you want your advice on, you send them over to us at manabonded@gmail.com.
As someone who has listened to every episode, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, we're in our first year of existing, so there's not too much to catch up on the backlog. You can be one of the earliest people, one of our earliest listeners, and we'll remember you forever when we're big and famous.
It honestly feels like you're sitting down listening to you guys chat.
It's fantastic.
It's one of the reasons I wanted the podcast to be formatted that way, is because that is my favorite content to consume, is just feeling like you're in the room with friends having a good chat and talking about things they love.
Yep. And if you'd like to share any of the quirks that Magic has hidden in their cards, join the Discord in the description. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, please leave a comment or send us an email.
We hope you learned something new about the cards that we talked about today. Let us know if there's anything interesting about them or just any other cards that you're like, man, you didn't bring this up. New players should be playing this. What are you doing? Come on. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your week.
Click all the buttons.
Do all the things.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.